As we come to the end of 2024 in Clash Royale, I thought it would be a good idea to rank every year in Clash Royale on a tier list, so we can compare how 2024 as a year compares to other years of Clash Royale's existence. Starting from all the way back to the earlier days of Clash Royale, we have 2016. 2016 was a huge year for Clash Royale. Aside from the 42 cards that are released at soft launch, which were just Clash of Clans cards imported into Clash Royale, they also released 28 brand new cards with unique mechanics, of which 9 were legendary cards, which was the new rarity introduced into Clash Royale at the time. Other notable things that happened in 2016 include the clan chest in the second half of the year, the addition of the huge 250,000 gem tournaments, legend trophies, grand and classic challenges, and overall just nostalgia. In terms of broken cards and bad metas, we can't not talk about the OP Royal Giant and Elite Barbarians, both of which were released bad and buffed to be insanely broken. And we also can't not talk about the Giant Poison and Elixir Collector meta of 2016, both of which were some of the worst metas this game has ever seen. So in terms of game balance, 2016 wouldn't be ranked super high, and in terms of game updates, 2016 may not be as packed as some of the other years of Clash Royale, but 2016 deserves some points for not only nostalgia, but overall the insane potential Clash Royale would have had in the years to come. For that reason, I think I'm gonna have to put 2016 in A tier. Next up, we have 2017. 2017 was a crazy year for Clash Royale overall. Starting with card releases, we got 13 new cards, which is less than 2016, but what I really liked about card releases in 2017 was how creative every card was. Every single card released in 2017 had a unique mechanic that innovated an existing mechanic. Of these 13 new cards, we got 5 legendaries. In my opinion, 2017 has some of the greatest cards ever released by Clash Royale, and I don't mean overpowered cards. I mean the greatest cards in terms of concept, and it keeps getting better. 2017 was also when we saw the clan chest getting reworked, but also when we saw leagues get added into the game, a competitive play feature that still exists today in the form of Path of Legends. With this, one of the GOAT chests was added into the game, the draft chest. 2v2 also officially got added into the game, which is also one of the game's greatest features probably ever. This year we also got one of the most controversial updates ever, which was the touchdown update. I did describe it as one of the worst updates in my video of the worst updates, but that was only because it was really overhyped. In terms of content, the update wasn't that bad. We also got quests during the touchdown update, which was an awesome progression update for all players. And at the end of the year, we got the electrifying update, which was overall a great update as we got new arenas, new chests, and tons of new features in this update. Game balance in 2017 wasn't super great, but compared to 2016, it was much better. The only absolutely broken cards on release I would say in 2017 were the Night Witch, Royal Ghost, and Bats. The only meta which I would say is notable as being horrible would be the beatdown meta after the Night Witch got released. But after Clash Royale nerfed the Night Witch, she became a pretty balanced card. So even the balancing team was doing pretty great in 2017. In my opinion, 2017 is the greatest year in Clash Royale's history. Not only were the game updates pretty common and really good, card releases were also amazing throughout the year, and the overall game balance was also great. And how could I forget Clash Royale Clashorama? Sure, Clashorama was a 2016 to 2017 thing, but since more Clash Royale themed episodes were released in 2016, I will give credit of Clashorama Clash Royale to 2017. Adding how great Clashorama was easily puts 2017 far in the lead compared to other years in Clash Royale, so this has to be an easy S tier for me, and I don't think any other year in Clash Royale can even come close to 2017. Next up, we have 2018. I think 2018 was probably one of the biggest years of Clash Royale in terms of the budget and the size of the dev team. In 2018, we got 7 new cards, of which 1 was a legendary, and these cards had great mechanics and worked well in the landscape of Clash Royale. 2018 was also the year that the OG Clan Wars got added. Even though I was pretty sad about clan chests being removed, Supercell did not disappoint when it came to Clan Wars. Clan Wars took the bad parts of the clan chest system and made it so that both competitive and casual clans could have fun and collaborate with each other. And it's not like Clash Royale removed the clan chest and didn't substitute any rewards. They added Clan War chests, which gave better rewards the higher you ranked in Clan Wars, and the best Clan Wars chest was actually better than the original clan chest, so in fact it was actually a buff to progression. 2018 also brought great updates to 2v2, including better matchmaking and even punishments for players who abandoned abandoned their teammates by putting a cooldown on when they could next join a 2v2. And it just keeps getting better. 2018 was also when Clash Royale started going all in on cosmetic items within the game, and I think this is great, since it doesn't make the game any more pay to win, but still provides people with cool content. The first of these were the new emotes, which nowadays are a huge part of how Clash Royale is played, so this was a huge update. They also added star levels, which used a new currency called star points. Again, a great update that has since been abandoned. We also got global tournaments in 2018, which was great for all players to showcase their skill, since all players were on an even playing field. Game balance in 2018 was okay, although there were some weird metas here and there. I would say that overall, 2017 and 2018 was the greatest phase this game has ever seen. For that reason, I have to put 2018 in S tier, but I'm gonna put it behind 2017, since I still feel like 2017 had a little more to offer, but both years were pretty even in terms of content and overall game balance. Next up, we have 2019. I think 2019 was kind of when Clash Royale players started to get bored, which is why interest in the game kind of decreased, and we saw this with the drastic drop in the number of cards released in 2019. We got 5 new cards in 2019, all of which were released once at a time throughout the year, rather than in bunches like in the previous years. But in terms of content and updates, 2019 was pretty packed. The big updates we got in 2019 was the Pass Royale, the Trophy Road, and the new game modes, which were added to the party mode. Pass Royale was an awesome update, since it wasn't super expensive and you got really good value out of it regardless of if you did pay for it or you didn't pay for it. The free tiers were still really good. And in the Pass Royale, Clash Royale added limited emotes and tower skins to give the paid pass value, which was great since they didn't provide an advantage in-game and there were fun flexes. Pass Royale is one of the greatest updates this game has ever had, so this was a great update for 2019. Trophy Road was also a huge update that we got this year. Instead of condensing rewards to a draft chest or to the end of the arena, Clash Royale kind of split the rewards as you got more trophies. This was great, since it was way more fun to get rewards every 100 trophies and have an incentive to keep playing, rather than grind an entire league for a chance at a better chest. And the rewards in Trophy Road were great too. Trophy Road is still a huge part of the game today, so it shows how meaningful this update was. The new game modes part of the party mode was overall just an awesome update, since they added some fun exclusive challenges that you could play without risking losing trophies, while also getting crowns for the Pass Royale. I would honestly put 2019 in S tier if it went for the terrible game balance during 2019. Almost every single card released in 2019 was broken at some point during 2019, and at the end of the year, we got some of the worst set of metas this game has ever seen condensed into a 3-month period. It feels like the balancing team really lost their senses during 2019, since it was just so out of place compared to the previous years. For this reason, I think I want to put 2019 in A tier, maybe behind 2016, but honestly I think these are around the same. There really isn't much to say about 2020. It was overall a horrible year for the world, so it makes sense why this meant it was a bad year for Clash Royale. I would personally say that 2020 was the first time Clash Royale had a bad year. I think the biggest disappointment of 2020 had to be Clan Wars 2, and it wasn't only because the update itself was bad, but also because its development meant that the rest of the year had lackluster content. I mean, the entire year's seasons kind of piggybacked on old seasons without bringing anything innovative to the table, but players kind of understood why, because Clan Wars 2 was teased pretty early in the year, so the dev team needed to focus on that rather than work on groundbreaking new content for the seasons. The issue was that Clan Wars 1 was going to be pretty hard for the team to beat, since it was almost perfect. I think the entire concept of Clan Wars 2 was flawed. Clan Wars 1 was already what the player base wanted. The idea of a new update to replace an already good feature was a bit weird, but when Clan Wars 2 did get added, it was received terribly. Many at the time considered it to be the worst update of all time, and I get why, to be honest. It was full of bugs, exploits, pay to win, and it was just worse than Clan Wars 1. And this update also removed quests, which were an awesome part of the game, so it made no sense to remove them. Clan Wars 2 was supposed to be the biggest update of the year, but actually turned out to be the biggest disappointment. I think the saving grace that automatically doesn't put 2020 in F tier was the fact that Clash Royale released 8 cards during 2020, which were amazingly designed cards. But adding to that, Clash Royale had a redemption arc in late 2020, when they took the pledge to fix Clan Wars 2 and its bugs and exploits. For that reason, I think I'm gonna put 2020 in C tier. Next up, we have 2021. I personally think that 2021 is my favorite year of Clash Royale, and it wasn't just because of the great updates that we got in 2021, but because of how popular Clash Royale was becoming again, meaning that more of my friends and YouTubers were playing, which made it just better. The main updates we got in 2021 included the Magic update, level 14, champions, and new chests. The Magic update is hands down the greatest update in Clash Royale's history, and I don't think anything can even come close to it. It solved a huge problem the game was having, where some people were gaining resources slower than the rate at which new cards were getting released into the game. This meant that these players would have no way to upgrade many cards to a higher level, meaning that they would have to always use the same deck, making the game boring. But magic items could not only help free-to-play players level up more cards to a good level, and therefore play a variety of decks, but the Pass Royale could have also had magic items, which would give it even more value. This gave birth to the OP Pass Royale, which had the Book of Books and the magic coin for only $5 US. Magic items could also give value to both free-to-play and pay-to-win players, while satisfying everyone. Champions were also a cool update, since it was an entirely new rarity that could finally give maxed players more progression. The fact that these champions could have abilities that cost extra elixir was also a great idea, and all the new chests released into the game were also pretty good. Gold crates were awesome, since they could overcome the issue of gold scarcity in Clash Royale, since they gave so much gold. Royal Wild chests were also great, since they could give players the option on which cards they want to put wild cards into, and therefore boost progression. But the thing that lets 2021 down is the game balance. Every single card released in 2021 was broken on release. The Goblin Drill led to a brain-dead cycle meta, and the champions were not only glitchy, but also super strong. And to top it off, the fact that Clash Royale carried out the scam of Slash Royale really hurt, since the rest of the year was so great. If it weren't for these letdowns, I think 2021 would be far in the lead as the greatest year in Clash Royale's history. For that reason, I think I will put 2021 in S tier, but behind 2017. Next up, we have 2022. I think one word to describe 2022 is just average. It wasn't insane, but it also wasn't terrible. To be honest, 2022 is kind of what Clash Royale should be. Not too packed on updates, but when there is an update, it delivers. In 2022, the big updates we got were Masteries, more cosmetics like Battle Banners, Path of Legends, and new game modes like Supercards. Masteries were a great update, since it kind of felt like the old quest system where if you reach a milestone with a card, you get good rewards. It was great that Masteries gave a wide range of rewards like gems, gold, and wildcards. Overall, a thumbs up update. Path of Legends was also a cool way for Clash Royale to separate Trophy Road from competitive play. This was a good feature since the upper end of Trophy Road was becoming too competitive for some players, and these players were becoming more frustrated with how hard it was to get the higher tier rewards, which were at the top of Trophy Road. To prevent competitive players from destroying casual players, Path of Legends was made to be sort of an optional league system, which was kind of similar to the old league system. However, one thing I will note is that the rewards for the Path of Legends were slightly worse than the draft chests were in the old league system, but the level cap kind of compensated for that. Yet another thumbs up update. The Battle Banner update was pretty cool, since players could express themselves better than with the old system, but overall, a pretty meh update. And the new game modes were pretty cool, with the Super Troops being the highlight of these. These were really smart, since it could give players an OP troop to mess around with in an environment where players wouldn't lose trophies, and everything was kind of just for fun. I feel like the updates in 2022 were mostly like thumbs up kind of updates. Yeah, they were great, but they weren't huge updates like what we got in 2021. I also didn't talk about the broken Phoenix and Monk and the broken Mighty Miner, so game balance wasn't great. For this reason, I think I'm gonna put 2022 in B tier, but 2022 was a great year for Clash Royale. Now we come to 2023. I think 2023 was the worst year in Clash Royale's existence, and nothing can even come close to how bad it was. The biggest updates we got in 2023 include the Pass Royale 2.0 with the update for losers, evolutions, and level 15. We also only got one card in 2023, which was the Little Prince. The update for losers was a terrible update. Aside from the season shop being somewhat decent, the fact that the Diamond Pass Royale 2.0 was basically the original pass, but with everything valuable taken out of it, but also more than double the price price of the old pass royale was pretty suspicious, especially since the Book of Books and the magic coin was so valuable. Additionally, Clash Royale also drastically reduced the rewards of the free pass by removing the Book of Cards as well as the Royal Wild Chest, which would have given players a free champion every season. So overall, the update for losers was a more pay-to-win update while giving less rewards. And the year kept getting worse from there. Right after the update for losers, Clash Royale released Evolutions. I personally think that Evolutions themselves are really fun and a great addition to the game. It's just that at the time, they were extremely pay-to-win. In fact, Clash Royale's initial proposal for Evolutions suggested that free-to-play players would only be able to get a full evolution every 6 months, meaning that in that time frame, 6 evolutions would have been released. But level 15 was the nail in the coffin in my opinion. Level 15 was made to take 50,000 elite wildcards to obtain for a single card. To give you an idea, at the time this would have equated to 100 champion cards and 25,000 common cards. This is 5 times the number of cards an upgrade from level 13 to 14 would have taken. This meant that it would have been impossible for a free-to-play player to get a champion to level 15. So the fact that the pass royale conveniently got nerfed at the same time as the hardest level upgrade was super dodgy. It cements 2023 as a year to forget for Clash Royale, but somehow it keeps getting worse. Card balance during 2023 was terrible. The Little Prince was released absolutely broken. The issue was that the Little Prince is a champion, so he costs more to upgrade to higher levels. This means that not only was he terribly unbalanced, but he was also extremely pay to win. And almost every evolution released in 2023 was fundamentally game breaking. For these reasons, I think 2023 has to go in the D tier, and I'm being pretty modest here. I would honestly put it at F tier if there were enough spaces on this list. That's how bad it was. Finally, we come to 2024. I think 2024 has been the most roller coaster year in Clash Royale. The year started off as not that great, but has made an insane comeback to become pretty awesome. This year, we got 9 new cards, of which 3 were Tower Troops. We also got 17 evolutions. The big updates we got this year includes Tower Troops, the Goblin update, reworked Pass Royale, 2v2 ladder, and Lucky Drops. Tower Troops were a pretty cool update, since it brings so much diversity to a part of the game that has always been the same. So I think this is a great update. The Goblin update was pretty controversial, but in terms of content, I think it was a good update, but it had many broken cards and the game mode it featured wasn't the most fun, so I'd say it was kind of a meh update. However, the updates in the second half of the year were great. 2v2 ladder was amazing, since it made competitive 2v2 not only fun, but also accessible to casuals and pros. The rank system worked great in matching people with other players at a similar level of skill, so I think it was a great update that brought so many people together. The reworked Pass Royale was also amazing, and adding to that, Lucky Drops, which I didn't mention before, were also awesome. I won't go too much into detail, but essentially, the updated Pass Royale boosted both free-to-play and pay-to-win players' rewards, and with the high rarity Lucky Drops, free-to-play players can get some of the higher tier magic items, like a Book of Books or Evolution Shards. So in terms of content, 2024 is actually pretty similar to 2019 and 2018. However, what let down 2024 was the game balance. Because of how broken evolutions are, combined with the fact that evolutions are part of the Pass Royale, these broken evolutions became sort of locked behind the Pass Royale. And it doesn't help that every Tower Troop that has ever been added to the game has been somewhat broken. We saw this with the Dagger Duchess, and now the Royal Chef. And to add to that, the Evolved P.E.K.K.A. and the Evolved Mega Knight have tormented the current meta, as well as the broken Goblinstein. And how could I forget the Void spell when it got released? And oh wait, I seem to have also forgotten about the broken Goblin cards, all of which recorded at least a 40% usage rate when they got released, with the Goblin Machine and the Goblin Curse reaching almost 70% usage rate. The list goes on. 2024 is probably one of the worst years in terms of overall game balance. However, in terms of content, it is up there as one of the best years. This is why the overall rating I would give for 2024 would kind of be between A and B, so let's just say B+. And that is the completed tier list of my ranking of every year in Clash Royale's history. I hope you enjoyed this video though. Thanks for watching.